We want to go ahead and get started. First of all, thanks to everybody for coming this morning. I appreciate you being here. I'm Terry Combs, the CEO of Sheridan Valley Association. This is my 22nd year with the organization. A few years back, we started doing these kind of state of the company addresses to give our employees a little more information about the overall operations of the organization, where we've been, where we're going, and some of the changes we've been making over the last few years. Today we have several topics on the agenda. One of those, of course, includes kind of our history, where we've been, some changes with the community and the accessing the community and the community rule, which many of you heard quite a bit about, but I want to keep that fresh and in front of everybody. We also, excitingly to me, have some updates to our mission and our vision statement as a company, which is really important to us moving forward. And I think it's great to see the changes we've made, and you'll be seeing more of that. Now we've got some fun stuff in the back for everybody to have. And then we will be talking about our budget for the new fiscal year beginning July 1. And we'll be talking about wages and changes we're making to those effective as well. So we'll get started. Before I move into all that stuff, Marcy wanted me to remind everybody about the optional cafeteria plan benefits open enrollment. You've seen this come out. There's been a memo that went out to everybody, but put that on your calendar if you're interested. June 26th. There's two presentations by Greg Walker, 10 a.m. and 3:15. Marcy, those are at the office? Okay. And you'll have, you can make changes until June 30th, but it's really best to do that when the representative is here. That's the best time to do that because he's really the only person that can truly answer all your questions. And it's best from personal experience, it's best to be able to do that face to face. You can always contact Marcy or Susan if you have questions, or Curtis. I'm sorry, Marcy or Curtis, I guess, if you have questions about that. This was our old mission, and while it served us well, or has served us well since our organization was founded in 1982, to me it was a little dated, it was a little long. A mission to me is something that we should be able to receive and understand and process and recite. And this is a pretty long mission statement, so I suspect, how many people in here could recite the mission now? Mike Martin, Susan, Justin? Okay. Without reading it, Justin. Without reading it on the screen. Now, yeah, without reading it on the screen. Okay, we got it. All right, including myself. As I said, you know, it's important for an organization to know exactly what you're here for. We know we're here to serve people with disabilities, but what is our additional goals we have set forward? In this old mission, high quality was a focus, obviously, and Northeast Missouri was a focus, which is not a big change, but we have actually expanded our services to a lot of different areas. And so our focus here with the new mission and vision is really to, one, capture what we're trying to do, two, be more up to date or current with what we're saying, and three, have something that you as our employees can really understand and follow and know what we're doing. And so our mission is to empower people with disabilities to achieve their highest level of independence through high quality and diverse support services. Do we think that, how many people think that does describe what we're doing? Yeah. So it doesn't change what we're doing, but I think it's much clearer in the intent. And I love the fact that we're putting people ahead of everything in this statement, which is to empower the people we support, because that's what we're truly here for. We didn't lose quality in this, no doubt. But we did add diverse. And so I think that's also important because it accurately reflects what we've done over the last several years in changing our program offerings and the expansion of our service area. So I'm excited to be able to roll this out to you today. And as Marcy had already said, we've got some great stuff for you in the back. Vision. We actually didn't have a vision set forth in writing previously prior to now. And this one, this was probably harder to come up with than the mission statement. So a vision statement is something that's kind of out in front. So a vision statement may not be something that you ever achieve, but it's something you always strive for, okay? And so we set forth our mission to be the premier provider of disability service in Northern Missouri and beyond. That Northern Missouri and beyond was probably our most difficult piece of this vision statement because we didn't know exactly what that meant. Do we want to be the biggest provider and the best provider in Missouri? You know, Missouri is one of the states with the most border states of any states in the country. And so did we want to look at services outside Missouri? Well, ultimately we said, no, that's not really our focus. We have expanded our services in many areas of the state, and so that's the beyond northern Missouri. And so keep that in mind. This is important to us as an organization to exactly know where we're headed. Over the last several years, we've had a lot of growth, and we're going to cover that. But we've had a lot of growth without that vision, and so we felt like we wanted to rein that in a little bit. So we have controlled growth, or we have intent with all of our growth, and not just growth. And so that's key to us moving forward. Now, one thing that's important is our goals of service delivery have not changed. These are actually in your employee handbook, they're in our policy manuals, they're important to us. We have as number one here to foster advocacy and to advocate for the people we support. Who does the advocacy for the people we support? Everybody. Yeah, everybody does advocacy. We do it every day, right? We support the individuals, we encourage them, we advocate for them to access the community, to be in the community, to do whatever they want to do in the community. Promote a normalized lifestyle and say, really, this is real life experiences. My intent was real life experiences with everything we do in serving people. So we take trips. People want to go these places, wherever they may have a dream to go somewhere. It should be our mission to make that happen. Okay? We all have dreams and wants. Okay? We want to be able to access things that are outside of the Kirksville community, and we know that Kirksville has limits, right? It's a great community, but it has its limits. So we want people to experience real life things. Third is the continuing involvement of families. This is one that's kind of, I will say, the roller coasters through time with the people we support. And so sometimes parents age and aren't as involved, or maybe they have their own health issues and it gets to the point where they can't be as involved. Maybe the family member passes away and a sibling takes over and they're interested but not as interested. Or maybe somebody has, which is getting more and more common, a public administrator as their guardian. And that's a whole different relationship. So, but we still need to foster all those relationships as long as they're healthy, obviously. Number 4 is to challenge the individuals we support each and every day. And so I've always said that people we support should be given all the opportunities, but they also should have all the responsibilities as much as possible, okay? And so responsibilities includes contributing to your community, being a part of the community, and contributing to the community as much as possible, okay? That's important for us to keep in mind. I like to see the people we support volunteer, work, whatever the case may be. It's things that we all do. That's also part of a normalized lifestyle too, right? So it fits in that one as well. The last one, or next to the last one, is to expand existing programs. That was one that I added back in 1999, and we've done that. We've done that a lot, and particularly in the last 5 years, we've done a tremendous amount. We'll cover that here in a little bit. But it's important. So in the last 5 years, our increases in revenue and our margins to address employee wages and benefits have not come through increases from the state. They came through our efforts to grow the organization and then reinvest those resources in you, our employees. And that's what's important about the growth. The last one is another one that is difficult, but it's important. And that's to recognize our limitations as an organization. We have realized at times that there's people we can't support, maybe in this community, or maybe in the particular setting. We've had to say, I'm sorry, but we can no longer serve this individual. That's a tough thing to do. It's very difficult, particularly after you, as our staff, have put a lot of time and effort into supporting the individual, and we've done everything we can as an organization to support the effort. But it's just as equally as important to be able to do that as it is to grow the organization. Any questions about it? If you have questions, please just raise your hand at any time, and I'll take care of that, okay? All right. Just quickly, I want to cover our services today. Currently, we have the large group home out next door to this building. We serve individuals who are medically fragile, who have a high level of personal care needs. And I will tell you that one big change we're making, we're actually going to be closing that program and transitioning the individuals into new ISL settings in the community. And so this is a project we've been working on for over a year, and actually probably longer than that if I really look back through my It's a very important project for the individual we support, for their families, for us as an organization. You may think, why would we do that? Well, we think people, one, are better served in smaller settings. They can be better served in smaller settings. We think that based on the new community rule and all that's been set forth through CMS, that group homes really aren't a focus of future services, and we want to be on top of the future. We want to be leading the effort, if you will, of doing what we need to do. And so that's a big change for our organization. So that was our first residential program that was ever founded by the organization. We are fortunate to be able to find someone local who was willing to build 3 new 4-bedroom houses. And so we'll have 3 new 4-bedroom houses, 0 entry, all set up and designed for the individuals that will be being built actually in the near future on West LaHarpe Street. And so it's exciting that we were able to get somebody who would be willing to build new housing in Kirksville and then rent those back to the individuals, because that level of housing is not available here in Kirksville. And so that was really probably going to be our #1 barrier, and we were fortunate to identify somebody here locally that was willing to invest in this project. And so it's really a cool project. It's one that's going to continue to take a lot of our resources. And honestly, because we need to invest as much time and energy into that, we'll limit our ability to do any growth in any other areas, probably for the rest of 2018, honestly. So. ISLs, here's the deal. ISLs are another one of our biggest growing areas. We continue to do ISLs since the early 90s. I think we opened the first ISL program in Kirksville, and now we operate 17 different ISL programs. We serve over 25 individuals in those programs, and the ISL programs, because of our efforts with the state with rate rebasing, is also kind of our program that really pays the bills for us in terms of level of income. Remote monitoring, this is something that we've implemented in our ISL settings, but are also in our ILSD program, which is individualized living, it's independent living supported development. And that program is for individuals that live on their own, or maybe with a family member. Debbie is a representative, she works in that program, and we support people in various needs and ways. It could be helping them with their budgeting, cooking. We could be working on accessing the community, learning how to access resources in the community. It could be all kinds of things. And so it's a very important program. The remote monitoring program uses technology. And so we are still one of the few providers in Missouri, and actually this regional office up in this area was one of the first ones to implement technology, if not the first, I think, in any of the programming here for people with disabilities. If you go to national conferences, you'll find that this is a big push everywhere, because people can be successful with the use of technology, and why not utilize it? So it's a great way for people. It doesn't work for everybody, but there's going to be more and more push for the use of technology as we move forward, and we're actually interested in continuing to do so. Our host home model is something that's fairly new. It's under the shared living model for the state, and so in the host home, we have people we support. We actually contract with families to provide the service, and so the family is an independent contractor with Sheridan Valley Association. They support the individuals. We provide administrative oversight, which is really our function. So we make sure they're in compliance, just like all you are with all your training and those sorts of things, and that their relief workers are in compliance, and that they're providing a quality service. We've found great success. In this particular program, we've been able to expand our services beyond our Kirksville region. Like I said, clear down the Springfield area all the way to nearly the Iowa line now. We have host homes scattered out through Missouri. And so we have a full-time employee down in the Springfield area, a professional manager who works on development down there, and then we have our existing resources here. Well, we have a part-time RN that works down there as well. And then we have our existing resources here with our RN, our community LPN, as there's here. And she actually, they travel to all the different sites from Columbia to over east of Kansas City and all the way back up to Lancaster to visit programs, in addition to the professional managers that also oversee that service. So it's a great service. We've seen a wonderful way people are able to connect with the family. And we've also expanded our contracts through this process to include Children's Division in Missouri, because there's really a need, particularly for the host home service, through folks coming through the children's division. And so we see people who come through the children's division who have never actually been in an appropriate family setting their entire life. People may have been in the system since they were 1 or 2 years old, or as an infant. They never lived in a family setting. They don't even know what it should be like. So it's really exciting to see people who are wanting and interested to provide that service, and then to put that person in that family environment and see how they bond is amazing, and see how the person grows. It's amazing. So there's some great programs out there, and it's a model that really is terrific. And it's been one of our biggest growth areas over the last 5 years. And we have over 20 host home families now that we work with, and we've served around 25 individuals now, I believe, in host homes. So it's a great program, and it's worked out well. We continue to work on employment services. We've really just focused on the Department of Mental Health Services, but that also is operated through the ILSD program, and it's a great, Missouri has become an employment first state. So if you see a push or you see it on the IP, you should see it on the IP, because Missouri, if you're an employment first state, there should be an objective for people to work on obtaining employment if possible. That's really what it's about. And then last but not least, community specialists. This service is kind of been ebbs and flows, but it's also operated through our ILSD program, and it's more specialized in helping people. Like somebody moves to a new area, helping them gain access to the community, learning where the resources are available, what are available, and where they're at, how to access them. And it's really that's the focus of that particular service. I want to keep this out in front of everybody. I know I've covered this probably for a couple of years, honestly, but it's important. The community rule set forth by the federal government establishes new guidelines for community services. All of our services that we provide are community. That's what we're supposed to do. So, accessing the community, choice, and all those activities. So, how many people have been in an IP meeting in the last 6 months? Have they gotten longer? Yeah, a lot longer, right? Right, yeah. Has your IP meeting gotten longer?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. That's right. Well, it has. Well, that's a result of the community rule primarily. So a lot of changes come through the community rule from the federal government. You may have also heard that there's been delays and changes in implementation with the new administration. However, Missouri is still moving forward with the date of January 2019 being full compliance. And so we as an organization should be in compliance. Linda and I have worked on putting together a book or manual for families and individuals that will kind of guide through the process, and you guys will be seeing training on that. But we also have certification coming this year. And what are the dates, Linda? August 6th? August 6th through the 8th. If you haven't heard that yet, is the date in which we will be receiving our biannual Medicaid waiver certificate on-site survey. And so we'll have surveyors here. They will visit every program site. At least they intend to. They will come visit. They will look at the services that are being provided. They will talk to individuals, which is a great thing. They will want to see people out in the community, accessing the community, enjoying their work in the community, those sorts of things. And that's what we're here for. Of course, they will be checking for compliance as well. So when you get tired of seeing all those reminders about your training being due or this or that, just know it's just not optional. It's not optional for us to not do that. We have to be in compliance. Otherwise, we could actually lose our contract with DMH without being in compliance. So, and it takes a lot of our time to follow up on the compliance issues. If we have a problem, time would be better spent helping individuals, helping you in programs. So, just please remember that. That's where that comes from. It's not us being difficult. It's the fact that we have to maintain compliance. So. This is the 5 key areas that the rule really focused on, and so this may make sense, a little more sense to you. Community integration, which you've heard me say quite a bit already, choice and autonomy, and so through the IP process you hear a lot about choice. Every year, for instance, the individual will be asked if they want to change provider agencies. That's choice. Or maybe they don't, or roommates, or whatever the case may be. That's a question that will come up in all IP meetings through this process. Choice of living arrangements, choice of staff, choice of agencies, whatever the case may be. Rights is a big one. I know we talk a lot about that as an organization. I know you talk a lot about that in your staff meetings. There's a due process, and so it doesn't mean that people can't have limits. It just means that there's a complete process that we have to access and go through before we can implement any change. And that's what's key for you to understand as people that are working directly in our programs. We mentioned choice regarding services who provides them, so they may choose a different provider. And then person-centered planning with the individual service plan process. And so that really is what's driven the IP changes, those areas right there. Any questions about that? Okay. Oh, yeah, again, I already mentioned that compliance due by 2019. So I just had a board meeting on Tuesday of this week, and we got our annual budget approved for the new fiscal year beginning July 1. And we'll focus here a little bit. You can see a lot of growth just in the last fiscal year, from last year to this year. Our new budget for this year will actually, we're estimating over $6.6 million in revenue through all of our different program lines. That's a huge change, and we'll see a little bit about that later. Personnel expenses are about 80% of our budget. $5.2 million will be contributing to wages and benefits for our employees for the new fiscal year, beginning July 1. We have historically, obviously this is the area because we're human services, this is the majority of our budget is in personnel. And then non-personnel expenses, which includes our stipends that we pay to our host home families for providing that service, are $1.2 million, and it leaves us a margin of about 1.5%, roughly, a little less than 1.5% on our $6.6 million budget. I will tell you that we've invested $270,000 in new wages in this budget right here. So it's important for us. That's where we invest our resources, because we invest in you, because you're the ones that are providing supports each and every day. And it's important to us. And I will tell you that this includes so last year we actually or in the current fiscal year, we took a budget cut from the state, or withhold. And the legislators put that money back in for this year. But if the new governor would happen to withhold that money, we will have a zero budget. We'll be break even on it. So, but the board of directors knows that. And even knowing that, we're still going to invest the $270,000 in new wages. We talked a little bit earlier about funding contracts on children's divisions, DMH. We do some fundraising and grants, of course, when they're available. This is our growth over the last, well, it goes back 6 years, but if you look at 13-14, we had a little less than $3.5 million in annual revenue, and as I just stated, we're $6.6 million we're projecting for the new fiscal year, beginning July 1. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for your efforts. We couldn't do this without you, pure and simple. We couldn't do it without you. But I will tell you, as I mentioned earlier, we also couldn't give raises without this, okay? Because we didn't get increase. We've had one increase in that time, and then we had a cut last year. So the only way we can give raises that we're going to be giving is through our growth. Here's where our focused growth has been. And so if you look here, you see the residential center, and the last column on the right is reflecting the current fiscal year. So you'll see that go down, and then you see the ISL column go up even more for 18-19, because that's transitioning from there to there. But you see our growth has been in ISL and in host homes primarily. That's what our growth has been over the last 5 years. That's been our focus. Those are the areas that's really more highly promoted with the state. And most importantly, that's where the demand's at for the people that need services. That's what they're asking for, those types of services. In-home supports, host homes, shared living, ISLs. Here's our wage increase history. So over the last 5 years, we've really had an increased focus on new wages for our employees with our growth. And so when we set forth to really grow the organization, we had the intent then to invest those dollars as much as we can in you as our employees. So starting from May 2015, we did a 3% increase. July 2016, we did 50 cents an hour. March 2017, 50 cents an hour. July 2017, 50 cents an hour. June 2018, as I said, we're investing $271,000 in new wages. But I will say that in this time frame here, we have had $750,000 in new wages for hourly employees, which is key for us moving forward. So thank you. This is probably what you wanted to hear today, which is how's this going to impact me? And so we are actually, the board of directors just approved a $1 an hour increase for all program staff, starting actually with this next pay period. So I'm not even This will put our starting wage to $11 an hour for all direct support professionals, and we don't want to stop there. So my goal is $13 an hour for our starting wage, and that's where we're headed. We don't have the resources yet to get there, but it's a focus of mine. The board of directors knows it's important to us as an organization. We're headed there. This does put, so we're also adding an additional 25 cents an hour to that dollar for our LSP positions. Because just in case you wonder how we come up with the amounts, we actually compare every position that we have in the organization to regional data. And we look to see how, and it's not just provider agencies, but it's all industries. So we want to be an employer of choice for people. We have a really good benefits package. We're working on the wage side, and we have for the last 5 years, and it's critical for us, but it's also our most important thing. This will put our LSPs up to over $13.30 an hour for our starting wage for an LSP position. Okay. Additionally, all remaining employees, so anybody that's not directly in a program position who's an hourly employee, will receive a 3% increase. Additionally, if you've been here 2 years or longer, you'll still be eligible for your performance-based increase upon your evaluation, and we've increased that up to 4%. And so previously it was 1 to 3%. Now you can get up to 4% raise based on your performance. So that will be in addition to the other raise that we already have built in. Any questions about that? You should know, most importantly to me, for you to know, is that this is important to me. It's what I work for every day, is to help you guys out, because you guys are the ones who are providing the direct service each and every day. Okay? We know that. We understand that. We know it's not easy. We want you to be satisfied with your job so you can focus on the individuals. And that's really what this is about. Other items of importance I want to cover, I mentioned already, Medicaid waiver certification. Oops, that's the wrong dates up there. I don't know how I come up with that, but
They've been the first ones.
yeah, did they change it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get that corrected for later. Also, has everybody met Kaylee? Kaylee Morgenstern? Kaylee, stand up. I'm embarrassing her intentionally, by the way, so that's okay. But Kaylee's our new quality assurance specialist. She's been with us for a very short time, but is doing an excellent job. You'll be seeing her out in programs if you haven't already. She will take over the quality reviews of the programs, but most importantly, most recently, she actually put together the data from our quality assurance survey. And I'm very happy to report that we received an overall average of top score in every category from the individuals and guardians that we provide support to. So thank you all. Quality of the service we provide, I can't say strongly enough how important it is to me as the leader of this organization that we continue to provide high quality supports. We know we have to have a strong workforce to do that, and we appreciate each of you every day, but I want you to know that you should always be thinking about the quality of your actions and everything you do, because that's what's most important in your job. Last but not least, when it comes to quality improvement, one of the areas for quality improvement is feedback. And I don't feel like we give you enough opportunities for feedback. And so I'm working on some strategies and ideas. I'm looking that we would maybe at least quarterly have a luncheon or a breakfast with me where anybody can come and we can just talk about ways to improve the organization. Is that something that people think they might be interested in? Interest? Okay, all right. Well, that's something we will get scheduled, and we'll include other professional staff as well. But we want to hear from you. And even though we're all, we have 200 employees roughly here in Kirksville now, we don't see you enough, and we don't talk to you enough. And you guys know the day in, the day out, what's needed, what's important, what's not getting done. We want your feedback. So this will be an opportunity. We'll get that scheduled. We'll get that information out to you. last but not least, I believe if you haven't gotten them already, everybody gets 10 care bucks for coming today. We appreciate you taking the time. Of course, you can utilize those through the office with the different items that are available to you. Is there any questions from anybody today or anything that anybody else that anybody wants to bring up? All right. Thank you all for your time. We really appreciate you and have a great day.